Hello everyone! This next game is simply a brilliant positional masterpiece by Bobby Fischer, and the reason I enjoy this game so much is because he's playing Tigran Petrosian, a guy who is extremely hard to beat. And this is their 1971 candidates match. Fischer won at 6.5 to 2.5, and with a result like that, we can pretty much say that, well, he crushed the Iron Tiger. In this game, Bobby Fischer is white, and he plays e4. We have c5 by Petrosian, the Sicilian defense, knight to f3, e6, d4, c captures on d4, knight captures on d4, and now a6. And here Bobby plays bishop to d3. We have knight to c6, knight captures on c6, b captures on c6, and Bobby castles. And now Petrosian plays d5. And in this position, Bobby plays an extremely nice move. He plays c4, and with the idea, Bobby wants to exchange everything in the center, and this will leave black with an isolated d-pawn. And even if black would capture the c-pawn or the e-pawn, then he would be left with an isolated c-pawn himself and with an isolated a-pawn, and this would be a lot better for white. So we have knight to f6 by Petrosian. We have c captures on d5, c captures on d5, e captures on d5, and d captures on d5. And now this d-pawn is isolated, and Fischer will create a target of this pawn. So we have knight to c3, attacking the pawn. We have bishop to e7, and now Fischer plays queen to a4 with check. He invites Petrosian to play queen to d7 to exchange queens, and well, Petrosian isn't bad at playing the endgame himself, so he plays queen to d7. And we have rook to e1 by Fischer. So Petrosian captures the queen, queen captures on a4, knight captures on a4, and now bishop to e6 by Petrosian. And bishop to e3. We have castles, and now Fischer plays a bishop to c5. He wants to exchange more pieces to go for the endgame. We have rook to e8, and now Fischer captures. Bishop captures on e7, rook captures on e7, and Fischer plays b4. And with this couple of exchanges, Fischer now has this knight on a4, but he pushes b4 and creates an extremely strong outpost for this knight on c5. And since black doesn't have a dark square bishop, it will be very hard to oppose this knight on c5. So we have king to f8, and now knight c5. And now this knight is a monster. And also by playing knight c5, he plays it with a tempo, attacking the a6 pawn. So Petrosian plays a bishop to c8, defending the pawn. We have f3 by Fischer, and now rook e to a7. He doubles up on the a file to guard this pawn one more time, because he wants to activate his light square bishop. If he doesn't play this rook to a7 move, then this bishop will be stuck on c7 defending this a6 pawn. So we have rook to e5 by Fischer, and now bishop to d7. And in this position, well, the engines are giving a lot of suggestions here. For example, one suggestion is a4, because Petrosian wants to play bishop to b5 and, well, either activate his own bishop or exchange it for Fischer's very active bishop. And also the engine gives suggestions like rook to c1 and king to f2 and maybe g4. But the next move Fischer plays is nowhere in engine suggestions. And the move Fischer played next, he was praised for this move for generations to come. And actually none of the players that were watching this game, none of the grandmasters even considered this move. But this is why Fischer is one of the strongest players in chess history. He actually plays knight captures on d7. He gives up this monster knight for this, well, the soon-to-be activated bishop. And what's the idea behind this move? Well, let's see. Petrosian plays rook captures on d7, and now Fischer plays rook to c1. And Fischer finds a very nice tactic to activate his rook. And now this rook is completely active, and he controls the c-file completely. And what's the idea? If black was to play a slow move, for example, like h6, then Fischer can simply capture this a6 pawn, and the bishop cannot be captured. Because if rook captures bishop, then simply rook to c8 check, and this is mate to follow. So after rook to c1, Petrosian of course sees this, and well, he has to defend this pawn one more time. If he plays rook to a7, then, well, both of his rooks are out of the game, and this will be easily winning. So Petrosian tries rook to d6, and we have rook to c7 by Fischer. because Petrosian had to move the rook from the 7th rank, and now Fischer occupies it. We have knight to d7 attacking the rook. Rook goes to e2. We have g6 making some breathing space for the king. Fischer plays king to f2, improving the position of his own king. We have h5. We have f4, h4, king to f3. We have f5, king to e3, and now Petrosian pushes d4, and now king to d2. And I want you to really look at this position, because this position is so beautiful. If you just look at the position, you'll see that there is no move Petrosian can play. This is move 30 of the game, and Petrosian can't move anything. So this is a complete zugzwang in move 30. This rook has to remain here. If this rook is moved, then Fischer will simply play rook to a7 and capture the a6 pawn. The king cannot go nowhere. If he moves from the f file, for example, to the g file, then Fischer will simply drop a rook to e7 and, well, this is over. Only moves that Petrosian could maybe play are rook to d5 and king to f7. But after bishop to c4, well, Petrosian will simply have to put the piece back, and this will only improve Fischer's position. So after this king to d2 move, like I said, Petrosian has no move. And well, he tries an idea. He plays knight to b6, and he allows Fischer to play rook to e7. And okay, this does seem like Petrosian can now fork the rooks, but he's not really gonna win any rooks, and Petrosian knows this. But he thought that maybe he could snatch this f4 pawn. So we have knight to d5, forking the rooks, and now Fischer plays rook to f7 check. We have king to e8, and now moving the other rook out of harm's way, so rook to b7. And here Petrosian played knight captures on f4. And Fischer played bishop to c4. And in this position Petrosian resigned. There is no move, again, that Petrosian could play, because there is simply no stopping of the threat that is rook to h7. Rook to h7 and rook to h8 checkmate, and this is unstoppable. If you tried something like, for example, knight to e6, then simply rook to e7 will pick up the knight. Before Petrosian captured this pawn, he did have one more chance at trying to preserve this game, although still it would have been lost because this a6 pawn will fall. He could have played something like rook to b8, but this only prolongs the unstoppable. So Petrosian decided to snatch this pawn on f4, and after bishop to c4, Petrosian resigned. And yeah, like I said, a beautiful positional masterpiece. I mean, crushing Petrosian like that, forcing an endgame against a great endgame player like Petrosian, and then winning not only this game, but he actually won 4 games in a row against Petrosian in this match. And yeah, it's just beautiful. And for the end of this video, I did hear a funny story about Petrosian. I'll let you decide for yourself if this is true. When Petrosian became world champion, it seems that he became so popular that a woman had triplets in Armenia, and she named them Tigran, Vartan, and Petros, as in Tigran Vartanovich Petrosian, just to honor the guy. I don't really think this is true, but then again, you never know. So yeah, that's it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and as usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and Meadow says hi.